I think I'm an entrepreneur partly because I'm unemployable, frankly. I have strong opinions about how things should be done.
America, to us, there is an Arabic proverb that says, if you drink from a well, you don't throw a stone in it.
So I always felt like that deep sense of responsibility to make something of myself. Otherwise, what was the point of my parents coming here?
Major funding for Arab American Stories was provided by Mohammed and Jamie El Arian, the Arab American Community of Michigan, the Arab American Community of Houston, Texas, the American Syrian Arab Cultural Association of Michigan. Additional funding was provided by
America has always been a home for entrepreneurs. With singular vision and hard work, Nawal Motawi, the Daoud brothers, and Moose Scheib have all built thriving businesses. In 1992, Egyptian-American artist and entrepreneur Nawal Motawi started Motawi Tileworks, where art, life, and work are integrated in a flourishing design business.
I started Motawi Tileworks in a garage. I started with one employee, me. I gained another person in the business. It was a brother of mine who actually became a business partner of mine for 16 years. So for a long time, there were two of us. I took my tile to the farmer's market, which cost $11 a day. We had to get up at 7 in the morning and take tile over there and hawk tile next to the rutabaga cellar. Right now, Motawi has 25 employees, plus 5 more in the clay making business. Motawi Tileworks makes about 100,000 individual pieces of tile a year. When I first started out, I must have made a tenth of that or less. I think I'm an entrepreneur partly because I'm unemployable, frankly. I have strong opinions about how things should be done. I have some Egyptian relatives who own their businesses as well. One of my uncles runs his own business, so that entrepreneurial streak is definitely runs through the family on the Egyptian side and the American side. What I love about being my own boss is controlling my minutes. Morning, Gretchen.
Hi, Nawal.
I'll come in the morning, throw my things down, and take a walk around the Tileworks first thing, pretty much. Let's go out in the shop. All right. So, looking at these. Those look all right. I'll look at the job board and see how much work we have. I'll look in on bulb glazing, take a look at what's on the tables. I'll check the Kanban board to see what our stock levels are like. I'll head back to the tables where the tiles that have come out of the kilns in the morning are sitting, and review the tiles that have come out of the kilns, take a look at them, and I may answer some questions that someone may have. It's important to me to listen to my employees. I've hired the best ones I can because I want their opinion. To keep my employees happy, one of the big things I do is try to foster a positive environment. We offer a free monthly luncheon. We give out quarterly gift certificates to every staffer so that they can buy our beautiful things. I think that if I take care of my employees first, that they will take care of my customers. So really, in the hierarchy of who's most important, it should be employees first, customers second. Being attracted to art is just something that comes from inside. My inspiration for the tile pieces that I make come from things that I see, largely from books and mostly from other artworks, to be honest. My unique talent is to take another piece of art or a motif from some other place and adapt it into a Motawi tile. I call it Noelizing the tile. It's Motawiizing. It's what I do to take a piece of art that I find enchanting and render it in such a way that we can make a tile using Motawi's technique and Motawi's colors into a beautiful piece of tile work.
The designs that we make really sell well, and they come mostly from her. And I also like that she asks for suggestions.
If you have another one, we could do a couple of them.
Actually, yeah. Okay, do that. Yeah, so I don't even say.
Do various lights and darks
Yeah.
and write down which ones I did and which styles.
Ooh, and I love this one. This is that same
5063.
We make field tile, which is what people know as just flat tile. Relief tile, which is tile that has a single glaze on it, and like a bas relief. And we make polychrome tile, which are tile that just have a little ridge separating color areas, so it's a very graphic looking tile. Making our tile starts with the clay, which we get ready mixed to our special recipe. We put it through a pug mill, which de-airs and conditions the clay. De-airing means taking the air out of it. We place pieces of clay on a press. We use a hydraulic press, which forms the actual tile. The press leaves a ragged edge, which we trim off by hand. After the tile have dried a little bit, we smooth the outer edges so when people are handling them, they don't cut their hands. We put the tile in a kiln and fire it once. And then we glaze the tile.
Choose my first color, which will be number 5003. Grab the bucket, put it at my station, and then use a regular bulb from the pharmacy. You want to keep it really smooth and really, not too thick and not too thin. I always say make it medium. Now, it'll dry for a second, and then we're going to take it to the dip after they're colored. Most of our tiles go into this dip. And then put it up with the rest of the tiles. And then later, we'll load them all into the kiln for their final firing.
So after the tiles come out of the kilns, they are sorted, they're counted, and sent on their merry way. Many of them get shipped off to galleries and fine craft galleries around the country. There are a number of Motawi installations around Ann Arbor, I'm happy to say. My favorite installation is perhaps the mural at the Pittsfield branch of the Public Library of the boy reading. We also have a bunch of installations at University of Michigan Hospital. In fact, every floor in that hospital has a Motawi mural. And I know that people enjoy seeing those. In fact, one day we took our entire staff to visit that installation in the hospital. And as this pack of 20 of us were rounding the corner into the elevator lobby, we caught a woman standing right up against our tile with her hand up to it, and she was stroking the tile. It was she was very embarrassed, but she totally made our day. I think we all felt like we were part of a bigger thing that was going on. I think that's what I'm hoping my staff feel, that they realize they're part of something bigger than just glazing a tile. Their work makes people happy. Making tile is deceptively complicated. Many people think you roll out a little thin piece of clay, cut it up and stick it in a kiln, and of course there are many, many steps. At Motawi, we make that look easy, and I know that it's not. I think I'm really, really fortunate to live in America, and to live in America in this time. I know that 100 years ago I could never have had this much opportunity and freedom to create this business, and in many other countries this would not happen either.
The Arab world is not known for its chili, but that did not stop the Daoud brothers from turning Cincinnati chili into their family recipe for success.
You can't go anywhere in Cincinnati and tell somebody, hey, have you ever had Cincinnati style chili? And they'll tell you, no, I've never heard of it or tasted it or seen it. It's intertwined and sewed into the fabric of this city. So here we are at the Mount Washington Gold Star Chili. This was the very first location and the founding spot for Gold Star Chili. My father and my uncle started their lives here together, and now it's being able to be carried on by the second generation. People just love it. It's a unique taste. It takes a little getting used to. If you come here and you've never had Cincinnati style chili, normally the first response we get is, wow, that had some cinnamon in it. I'm not sure I loved it. Then the more and more you come back, the more and more you get hooked.
Whenever I introduce myself, I say Fahid, and right away the other person will respond as Fathead. And this has happened more than once. So I had to have a nickname, which is Frank. I come originally from a village in Jordan. It's a beautiful, hilly village, and it's called Lifhais. We were farmers. My father was a tobacco farmer. My father was very much interested in our education. Jordan at that time was really a very humble country, mostly depended on cattle and sheep and farming. And therefore, the opportunity of being educated, you have to get out of Jordan. In 1951, my brothers Bashir and Fahid were the first of that village to come to the United States. When they say goodbye to somebody that's coming to this country, I mean, they are weeping and crying as if the guy is going and never coming back. I was myself, being young, excited to come to the United States because it's a different world for me. I was about 20 years old, 1957. The trip was a very tiresome trip. You go through a storm that is, sometimes you wish you were dead. When the wave comes, the whole boat just rocks back and forth, and you can't imagine the seasickness that people had to go through. We were so anxious to arrive, and the moment we saw the Statues of Liberty, we just relaxed, and we knew that we are arriving at New York. I was very apprehensive. I was very excited, and in the same time, I don't know what is going on. And I took a taxi cab to the Greyhound bus station. I did not have extra cash. I had a used watch that I don't think it was working. But I had to give that for the ticket in order to come to Cincinnati. And my brother was living here, and right away they took me in. When I arrived, they were getting ready to go to a New Year's Eve party. And of course, I went with them, but I was so tired. I felt lonesome, remembered my parents. I had few drinks, and then I started crying like a baby. I felt homesick. And of course, I spoiled their evening, but they were forced to take me home early because of that situation. We were 4 brothers here: Bashir, Fahad, Bishara, and myself. In 1963, we saw a good location, a business opportunity. The name of the restaurant was Hamburger Heaven. And the 4 brothers decided to buy that restaurant, and we scraped all that we have of money.
And what they were noticing is that more and more, nobody was ordering burgers and fries, they were sticking to the chili.
The recipe that we got from Joe Marsh, who was the original owner, was a superb one. It has 16 different spices. None of the spices overcome the other. In 1965, we patented the name and, of course, the recipe for the chili product. And we started franchising. We had 8 restaurants by 1969.
Today, our commissary produces about 2 million pounds of chili a year for our 96 locations that we have in the tri-state region.
Cones, 2-way, 3-way, 4-way, 5-way, and chili plain. The 3-way, which is the popular one, is spaghetti, chili, and cheese.
Number
Read
4,
it
four-way
up for
onion.
me. Read it up for me.
Need a cheese coney. You need a 4-way onion.
4-way onion.
My job at Gold Star Chili is really a brand manager. I am involved in a lot of different aspects at the company. This is fun. I'd rather do this than be in the office. هلا بنلعب شوبي. هلا 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 هلا.
Is that 4-way bean or onion?
Onion, Dad. They're all onion. See, Dad, you're slipping, man. We need to get you back in the restaurants more often so you don't lose your touch.
Mustard? Mustard?
I don't have the mustard. Oh, there it is. There you go.
You are slow, Sam. I think that the secret of our success is really every one of the brothers contributed according to his ability. We were all for one and one for all. That's when we dug to build the new offices. We employ about 125 people in the corporate office. But Gold Star Chili as a whole, between 1,500 to 2,000 employees.
I just value the most that I was fortunate enough to be raised in 2 different cultures and learn the best of 2 worlds. It makes me that much of a wiser. And you know, I value a lot of being a Jordanian because of the respect and loyalty that we have to each other and family. And the number one thing that I value about this country is the opportunities that it gives to really anyone. It's really, you make it with your own hands.
I hope the rain holds on, but I do thank everyone for coming out. It's a great cause and a great charity. We have Gold Star Chili here today providing free conies. Give it up for Gold Star.
Today, as we kick off our Christmas kettle effort, Gold Star Chili has come alongside us as a new partner and is hosting the event in that they're providing free hot dogs and refreshments for this event.
Wonderful.
This country has been great to us, and it's always to give back to the hand that gave you what your dreams were all about. America, to us, there is an Arabic proverb that says, if you drink from a well, you don't throw a stone in it.
Moose Scheib is an attorney by training and a born entrepreneur. Moved by the number of Americans losing their homes in the economic downturn, he started Loanmod.com to help homeowners avoid foreclosure.
I always felt like there was this housing bubble, and I always felt like there was going to be a crash in real estate, and I never thought it would be this bad, though. I never thought it would be this bad, but with 14 million homeowners underwater out of 47 million mortgages, that's a staggering number. But there's a lot of potential here. Like, this is a newer development in Detroit. At the same time, you'll get like this nice, and then look over here. You got the effects of foreclosure right across the street. So this is a kind of an epidemic that's affecting not just these neighborhoods, but the high-end neighborhoods, the middle-class neighborhoods. It's affecting everyone.
Maria and her husband were careening toward foreclosure. That's when Maria found out about a young, rapidly growing company called Loanmod.com. Started 3 years ago by Moose Scheib, based in Dearborn. A team of 27 loan modification processors work as professional negotiators between average homeowners and the banks. When they first gave you the news that your mortgage was going to drop,
I was screaming and crying like I just gave birth.
Truly, Maria says she just couldn't believe what Loanmod.com was able to do. Remember, they cut her interest rate by more than half, and her monthly payment.
What's the latest and greatest?
I'm just finishing up the introduction to these 2 difficult.
Moon, how are we doing on the state by state? Yeah. Awesome. Jess, how many homes you saved this week?
22.
I consider myself like a social entrepreneur. You build a business, you create jobs, but you also do something that will help society and leave a lasting impact. And I think that whenever you're helping people stay in their homes, I mean, that how much more rewarding can that be? And that's why, to me, it's I'm passionate and about my work. That's why I work, sometimes 20 hours a day. Sam, you got a minute?
Yeah, I do actually.
I always felt like I could use my law degree to help people And that's why I went to law school initially, and I just didn't feel like that was being fulfilled working at a big New York law firm. Also, I had family that were starting to struggle in Michigan, and my father was ill. It just made sense to me that because of the economy and the slowdown in the auto industry, it would be a good place to start something to help homeowners. So I started Loanmod in 2006. You know, you're starting it from the ground up. I started going door to door to people's homes and learning about their stories and why they were in foreclosure. I wanted to learn everything about it, and even the psychology of the homeowner that we were helping. I wanted to know what they were going through.
Moose, Ralph Nader calling.
How are we doing on Brentwood?
It's coming.
Yeah?
It's just about done.
We just have to stay on top of it because we are kind of the leader in this industry. That's pretty much all we do all day long. Make things better, more efficient, more sustainable.
Yeah, you did it!
Hey, Soaps.
You gave me cupcakes.
Cupcakes. Truth is that these long hours are sometimes grueling, usually very challenging. I'm really kind of lucky because Natalie's very understanding about that, and the whole family is. And they all really support me heavily. Like, I want to be with Sophie and have more kids, but I know it's going to pay off for us and it's going to help us as a family in the long run. And not to mention, we're saving the American dream, but it also builds our own American dream. So it's kind of like, you know, you got to do it.
It's hard, you know, because he works these long hours and he'll come home like 8 o'clock. He'll come and change his clothes. I know. He'll come and not change his clothes and eat really fast and then run off to his dad's and give him his medicine and give him a shower and stuff. Because his dad's had, you know, a few strokes and... He's had 4 strokes, so, you know, he needs the help.
شو نعسان؟ نعسان؟ والله غير لك صباحو كيف؟
وشو اليوم؟
ها؟ اليوم الأحد أها Sunday October 17. What year?
And if it wasn't for my dad being the way he was or he is, I wouldn't be as motivated in who I am, and I wouldn't have grown up the way I did. I was born in Beirut, Lebanon, and I came here in 1987 at the ripe old age of 7. We came here as a family really with nothing. We had a good life in Lebanon and left that for the pursuit of the American dream because there was a war going on. I always felt like if we don't make something of our lives here in America, if we don't actually impact change in society or do something great, then our parents really came here for nothing. When they came to America, they knew that it was going to be a struggle, and they took it upon themselves still to do that because they had young kids and they didn't want them to grow up in a war zone. So I always felt like that deep sense of responsibility to make something of myself. Otherwise, you know, what was the point of my parents coming here? I'm going to get going. I'll see you after the game. All right, love you. The next phase of what we're working on is helping people do it themselves. So even if somebody can't afford our services, what we did was we put everything that we've learned in the last 5 years together into this kit, into this software to help homeowners. It would be irresponsible of us and unethical of us to have this knowledge and not share it with people that need it the most, because when you see people get kicked out of their homes, you don't wish that upon anyone. Knowledge is power, and if we can empower people, then we're that much better off as a company. So I had a sheikh bring me this magazine from Malaysia, and it has 30 under 30. The next generation of Arab leaders. So it's got, you know, royalty figures, billionaires like Hariri, and then you got one Arab American in there, and it was me. So I was like, what is this? And that was really, really cool. Really humbling, because I don't feel like I belong on this list. I'm just helping homeowners, you know? But
it's not really that humbling. You know you loved it.
I mean, it's kind of nice, but Malaysia, I get friend requests from all over the world on Facebook and other places, and I always ask people, like, do I know you? And they're usually like, oh, I read about you. So it's really cool, like, that you can have an impact on people all over. Why are you smiling at me?
Are those all the hot chicks from, like, you know, the Netherlands and stuff? They just read about you? I'm good. They're not that hot.
I am Neda Ulabi. Hope to see you next week for more Arab American stories.
Major funding for Arab American Stories was provided by Mohammed and Jamie El Arian, the Arab American Community of Michigan, the Arab American Community of Houston, Texas, the American Syrian Arab Cultural Association of Michigan. Additional funding was provided by